don't think so. It's pretty light in here, I think. Yeah.
You should be on.
Yep, I'm pretty sure it is.
The chat's working, so I'm not going to
It's working.
All
right. Hello, everybody. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's on. I'm Tiffany. Welcome to my quilting life. Today is Sunday. Sew Sunday. Or I'm going to sew because it's Sunday, but I don't have anything specific to sew because I have so many UFOs that I'm going to bring out yet another in a bag that's not dated, so I really can't tell you when it was started, but I can give you a roundabout in a minute after we see who's all here. There it is, finally. Oh, come on, you stupid thing. Oh, and we're gonna go to the beginning. We got Beverly, Linda, Kara, Eva, Velma, Karen, Cherie, Beverly, Susan, Claudia, Jackie, Jay, Tammy, Katie, the Greenland Quilter, Marlene, Jacqueline, Deidre, Dawn, another Dawn, Marlene, Jim, and so many more. Hello, everybody. Yes, I did come in a second early, but, you know, that's because I don't like to sit around and wait. Like, I literally feel like I'm standing in here for so long, waiting to press the button that says, go live. So on my shelf was this started half square triangles, and I have no idea what else is in here. It looks like half square triangles so far. This was one of my daughter Alexa's projects, and she hasn't lived here since she was 18 years old. So, and she's 25 now. So who knows what she was trying to make or for whom she was trying to make it. But it looks as if, and I don't think I have any more of this fabric either. So if there's not enough, I don't know what I'm going to do. I may or may not, you know, substitute for something else then. But it looks like there's some half square triangles started here. We got a green with whatever flowery type of background. This is probably before I started, you know, getting lots of fabric. This I didn't have very many choices. I was getting it from estate sales and stuff. So it looks vintage. It feels vintage too. And then this is a charm pack that was called, she wrote on here, Fern Wood. That's what the charm pack was called, Fern Wood. I think it's Benertex because it feels like Benertex fabric. I'm starting to get used to the feels of the different brands, so I'm pretty sure this is a Benertex line. Anyways, so I guess I'm just going to continue making half square triangles until this pile is empty, and this pile is empty because it's half square triangles, and I'll just lay them out. However, I don't know what she was doing, so she was probably trying to do one of those like around the worlds or something with it, and yeah, I don't know. I think she was doing 2 at a time. Let's see if this is 4.5 inches. Yep, somewhere around there. So she was doing 2 at a time half square triangles. So I will do 2 at a time half square triangles. I was working earlier, so I had a different stitch length. All right, so I guess I'm just going to take from this pile and this pile and just start sewing them on one side and then the other side of my not so. Oh, she even drew on the back of them. Oh, there is a drawn line. See, she spent the time to draw the line because I didn't have seam tape back then. So we actually had to draw the line on everything. Because seam tape wasn't developed then. Did you know that? It's only been a few years. The seam tape is a new thing. So, and I started using that about, what, 2 years ago now?
I don't know.
Solid all the time. So it's probably been around maybe a year before I ended up with it. So maybe 2 years at the most. So yeah, this project's pretty old if the line is drawn on all the fabrics. All right, so I'm just going to sew on both sides of the drawn line. Look at that. That's going to make it easy because then I don't have to do anything else. I just sew on the sides of the line. Of course, these 5-inch squares aren't the same as these 5-inch squares. That's okay. Alexa wasn't perfect when she was learning. Neither am I, and I'm still learning to this day. It's kind of weird, right? So these are probably.
work on this.
I probably should have. Oh, these are exactly 5. So these are not exactly 5. Look at that. I'm looking now just because. Oh yeah, these are like 4 7/8 by 5 inches. So they're kind of cockeyed. It's the charm pack that's not correct. I probably should have called her and said, "Hey Alexa, I'm working on something you started a long time ago." I did send her all her fabric too. Like I sent her everything that she would want to start something from, but I didn't send her this because this was buried on the UFO shelf. So she probably don't even remember it exists, but I do. So I'm going to finish it because, why not?
Are you enjoying your new glasses prescription?
I am not enjoying my new glasses prescription. It keeps giving me headaches. It's not only the fact that it's tight right here and I'm not used to it because I don't wear my glasses all the time like the ones I was supposed to wear all the time. I never did. And for reading, I just put on reading. I'm used to blurry vision. I'm very used to it. That's the way I lived my life. And I don't know.
So
having it here.
Ugly I look?
I see how just fine you look. I could see. I could see far really good. It's a little blurry. The problem is the bifocal. I'm not used to having to tip my head down to keep the longer distant vision. So like when I'm looking at the floor, even with my head tipped down, I see through the bifocal, which blurs it back out again. I'm totally not used to that. So I literally have to turn my head even more to stay on the frontal vision So I'm not used to it. And then I'm just turning my eyes down now to look through the bifocal. Does that make any sense? It's driving me nuts and giving me headaches. Not migraines, at least. At least it's not a migraine. That's all I got to say. But it is giving me headaches. So I'm trying to get used to it. But if it keeps bothering me, the purpose that we bought the least expensive way, which is the bifocal, so that I can take them off and put them on as needed. Like when I'm driving or working like this or reading. But all in all, I'm not liking them.
Well, you love them.
They're cute. Today. I loved them up until today. Well, I didn't love them, but
you didn't like them.
Somebody came to say hi to everybody.
Yeah. Tell them about this person.
We were watching church on TV today, and I picked him up off of the floor and I set him on my lap. He is not a lap cat. And I sat him on my lap and he stayed the whole church service, like on my lap, just letting me pet him. And I wasn't even petting his head either. He just laid there on my lap. He's not a lap cat, but he does with me. I think it's because he knows I have a headache. But he knows that I wasn't feeling good.
In the mountain. It's his birthday this month.
Yep, his birthday is at the end of this month. He will be how old now? 11, 12, 13? 12. He's 12 this year. We don't know I don't exactly remember the exact date, but we dedicated Cyrus's birthday to being Thumper's birthday on July 28th. So because I remember getting Thumper somewhere around Cyrus's birthday. So Cyrus's birthday is now Thumper's birthday. Which works perfect so that we can remember it and remember how old he is every year. Because he wasn't yet a year old when I met Scott. And next year, Scott and I have been married for 10 years. So, yeah, that means Thumper he would be 12 this year, not 11, Scotty. He would be 12 this year, not 11.
I said 12.
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought you said 11. Yeah, he's 12 this year.
We will be together 12 years in November, so he's 12 now.
Yeah.
He was 6 months when we met.
Yeah, he was about 6 months old when I met Scott. And he didn't like Scott when we first met. He peed on him. He didn't want him anywhere around. He said, nope, you are not my master. And now he loves him. He sleeps on him. Well, at least next to him.
He's my buddy now. We sleep together.
Yeah. No, I have the bifocal line on my glasses.
Oh, I was just
Yeah.
answering that.
Yeah. I saw it. No, we went with bifocals because it was cheaper. And I figured, well, if I need to take them off, at least I don't have to wear them all the time. Just in case. Because I struggle with keeping glasses on my face. I'm not like an all the time glasses wearer, even though I should be, but I really try hard, sometimes to wear them, but it drives me nuts. I think what it is just the touching my ears because of my MS and my nerve problems, and I have trigeminal neuralgia in my face. I think what it is that feeling against me drives me nuts. I think that's what it is, honestly, of all things. I'm gonna be sewing these for a while. Feels like there's so many here. I wonder how many there is. It's probably 2 charm packs worth. It looks about 2 charm packs worth, plus what she's already done. It's all browns and blues though, so it'll be pretty, whatever ends up with it. I literally have so many UFO projects. So the goal is to start getting them done instead of starting new things. Plus, I still have a lot of quilts to quilt. Not as many as I had because now I'm down like 11, but I always add to the pile. I haven't been quilting lately though. I've been doing other things.
You've been working on client work.
I've been working on client work and filming a video and all that kind of stuff. I've been a little busy bee.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Monday. Oh yeah, tomorrow we'll have a mail opening. And then I'll be filming the rest of the day after that because I have lots of things I gotta do.
Are you making a certain pattern?
Huh?
Are you making a certain pattern?
Nope, I'm just making these half square triangles and then I'm just gonna lay them out into something and call it a quilt. That's probably what my daughter was doing when she started this. I'm not even sure who she was making it for, if she was just making it for herself or a friend or her boyfriend at the time back then, or I don't know. I'm not 100% on that. When I finish it, I'll show her a picture and say, so what were you planning with this? She'll be like, I don't even remember starting that.
Probably.
I do know that it was her that started it. Because she's the only one that actually would sew with me. Damon didn't stick around to learn. He liked to make pillows, but he hasn't done anything since I was in the garage. Maxine has sewn a quilt with me. I just have to quilt hers, and she needs to bind the one she made for me, and then obviously we'll be done with those. And then Lexa's made a few quilts for her friends and stuff. And then she had started this, and the rest of all her stuff I just sent her. And then Cyrus, he would come in here and bug me. He actually wouldn't sew with me. He made pillows and stuff, but he wouldn't actually sit and sew with me. He was just curious of what I was sewing or how I was doing something. This is probably one of the most dauntingest things to do, though, is sewing half square triangles. Of all things quilting related, I think half square triangles are probably when you have to do a lot of them for something. Just the repetitive over and over and over. And then you got to trim them over and over and over. I think that's probably the worst thing, is making tons of half square triangles. But I'll do it because I love making quilts. Any questions? Huh? Did everybody get to catch the replay of Thursday's video where we made the flag behind us? Right here on the wall. Did you guys get a chance to see that video and or make a flag yourself? Because it really doesn't take much. It's, for me, it was just scraps. And as you can tell, I bound it since then to the blue one. That's the one I did on the video. And I put the binding on it.
A half square triangle sewn on both sides of the line.
Yep. I'm sewing on both sides of the line so that I'm not left with anything. I'm using both sides of the fabric. Because if you just sew on the line, you'll get a 5-inch square when you're done. If you sew on both sides, you'll get 4.5-inch squares.
What color thread are you using for piecing?
I'm just using white thread today. Yeah, I do have a black spool up there, but that's because I was bag making prior to making this video, before being online. I literally finished filming something, and then I was, I had dinner, and then now I'm here doing this. I literally been in front of the camera all day today. So if you see me wearing the same clothes in a video that's going to come out soon, that's because I was filming. Usually I don't film on Sundays, but I was on the last step of something, so it made it easier just to do it today. That way it's all cleaned up for today's video. And then I'll be on camera again all day tomorrow because I'm going to do mail opening in the morning, and then when I'm done with that, I'm going to film something else.
I want to buy a magnetic seam guide, and Fat Quarter Shop has 2 for sale. Which one do you recommend?
Well, I would recommend for the little machine, for your little domestic machines, I'm not using the seam guide right now, but come on, get out of there. For regular domestic machines, I recommend the little one. The long one on the little machine, I didn't like because the bed of the, where the needle plate isn't long enough forward for the long magnetic seam guide, so the shorter one is the better one. And this has a dual purpose. You can actually use this to fold under a seam. That's what this little lip is right here on the side, besides lifting it up and down. You can actually turn it sideways like this and run a seam thing through that front side of it. So that way you can roll your seam, make like a rolled hem or whatever. So it has like a multi-purpose. I've never used it for that, but I know that that's what it's for. So it helps with multiple uses, keeping sewing straight, which most of us don't do. I've learned that. I don't, and I've heard from many, many of you out there, none of us sew straight. Just can't sew a straight line for the life of us. It just doesn't work. Oh, there might be just enough. She might have cut exactly. It didn't look like there's enough. Scott put a link in for Fat Quarter Shop. And don't forget to check out all of my affiliate links. It's on my main page. If you hit that button that says more right under my name and everything, where you see the description, You can pull up all the different affiliate links that I have, which if you purchase something on there, then you guys help me out just a little bit here on my channel. Pennies on the dollar, but still, it helps us out. That's about the only source of thing that I use. And I definitely love shopping at all those places that I have as my affiliate thing. The only one I don't shop at a lot is Sulky because I don't really use their thread much. It's more for like embroidery or decorative thread on Sulky, but they have other stuff on their website.
What was the first quilt you ever made?
The first quilt I ever made was sheets. I took a sheet and chopped it up and then sewed it back together again. And my son Damon has that one.
And it came out really good.
And it came out really good. So the sheet was like, imagine a border fabric, I guess, where it has, you know, stripes. It was kind of like that, but geometric. So I chopped the sheet just right. And the way I sewed everything back together, it created a design and made it look like stripy differently. It looked really cool. It changed the look. Let's just say that a lot. Which was cool. And then I didn't have this machine or any. I had just a brother cheesy cheap machine, and what I did was I put it on a decorative stitch and then I decorative quilted on it my son Damon's name. I put DAYMON on it, so on the back side it's backwards, on the front side it's right side up, and then I gave it to him for Christmas that year. That was a long time ago. I even used a sheet. I used a sheet on the back, and I used leftover sheet for the binding, which I didn't even know what I was doing. So my binding was like 4 inches because I didn't know what I was doing. Ooh, look at this. I had enough squares. Yay. That I literally have 2 extra as well. Smart. That'll allow me to take one of the pieces into the other room and try to refine this fabric because I might have some left. We'll have to look on my shelves. All right, I'm going to go ahead now and flip the whole thing around onto my lap and floor because that's where it's going to land. And I'm going to go down the other side of all these now. Just a little bit faster. A first-time quilter, I would say try my layer cake madness pattern because it uses the layer cake. It's just a few cuts at different sizes, so you can get used to cutting, but you'll get used to finding your 1/4 inch seam and how to make your 1/4 inch seam. If these weren't yanking, I could continuously sew these, but they're yanking.
On your brother, did you use the thread stand?
Yes, I used to use a thread stand with my brother because when I first started sewing, I used big spools and little spools. And the machine wasn't meant for the big spools. Can you tell I sew a lot being able to do this? I can just keep them that one way. I don't change my needle for anything I do unless I'm sewing jeans or vinyl. I'm just using a 9014 titanium needle on everything. On my long arm, I use a 16, I think 16, or 18, one or the other. On 90% of everything I do. Sometimes I change it out. Depends on if I'm quilting t-shirt quilts or not. I didn't hear you. Hold on. What'd you say? Yeah, kind of. There's not really an expiration date on thread, but take like a new spool of thread like this and then do the pull test. If it pulls apart really, really, really easily, then it's probably bad. If it takes a little bit, like this is taking a little bit of pressure, then it's still good. That being said, when you're running it through your machine, if it really breaks like that often, then it's a bad spool. If you're constantly breaking thread, it's probably an old spool of thread. So yeah, it doesn't have like a date that it's expired, but I have some thread that's probably more than 20 years old that I got from a lady who, when I bought from an estate sale once, and she had tons of thread, so I bought all the thread too. Some of it's probably 20, 30 years old. And guess what? It still runs through my machine. So expiration, maybe, but I just pull on them first to make sure. Just take that thread, pull on it, and if it breaks really, really easily, I'm just not going to use it. I'll discard it, you know? And if it takes a bit to break it, then you know it's still good. No, I change thread colors when piecing sometimes. It depends. Right now I have a white thread, but when I run out of bobbin, because that's usually what it is, I just grab from one of these spools because this project has no white fabric in it. So I'm just going to grab an orange or a green or whatever I have already rolled up. I will grab a bobbin. so there'll be two different colors on the top and the bottom. So it depends. If I'm doing a white project, I'll have white on top and in my bobbin. But lately I've been just trying to use up a lot of the old bobbins that I've been rolling over time and stacking them up. It's nice to use them up finally so I can roll new ones with new thread colors that I have currently. But I typically use white, gray, or black. Those are my main always use colors. This is also a test to see how good your thread is. If you can continuously sew like this and it's not breaking, that's a good thing. That's good thread. I'm just speed sewing through all these half square triangles.
Thread to break when free motion.
Thread to break when free motion quilting is probably because you're either sewing too fast or because the machine is going too fast while you're moving things underneath it. And the machine, technically the machines aren't made for that. They're made for you to use your feed dogs and suck things down. That's what the machine is made for, is regular sewing. They weren't made for quilting. You know this, right? I hope you do. So they sell these machines sewing and quilting because they set a different, there's a word for it and it's not going to come out. What is that word, Scott, when something is timed? The timing is set differently on your sewing and quilting machines. So that timing allows you to be able to move the fabric under the needle without your feed dogs. So just remember, if you have an older machine that doesn't even, if your feed dogs don't lower, it's not meant for free motion quilting. The timing is not set for that. So as soon as you start moving things around, your thread is going to break every time, because it's not meant for that. It's not timed for that. It's not built for that. So as soon as you start free motion quilting on a machine that's meant for sewing and quilting, the only time you're going to have thread breaks is bad thread, your needle has a burr in it and you need to change out your needle, or you're just moving too fast for the machine, which is set to a specific time, even with your pedal to the metal. So you're going too fast, your thread is bad, or it's not the right thread. You guys know that my Jukies do not like Orfill thread at all. They cannot stand it. They also don't like small spools, like Mettler spools, the Orfill spools, Gutermann spools. All those little skinny, thin spools are not meant for this machine. I'm meant to have, and it's designed to have, the large spools. Anything that's large, like these ones that I'm currently using, it's a lot larger, and they're meant for up and down pull off. So just make sure you have the right kind of thread for your machine. If you have the kind that sits in the front sideways like this, you can't use a spool like this. You need to have the Gutermann, the Orfill, those kind of spools that are meant to go sideways and pull off sideways. So you got to check all those things. If you're constantly breaking thread, it's one of those things. Your thread, how fast you're going and moving, or so on and so forth. But technically, most machines are not designed for free motion quilting. We just do it anyway, because we can.
Can you use an embroidery machine for quilting?
Well, my embroidery machine, the Brother PRS 100, yeah, that's what it's called, has a quilting attachment. You can turn it into a free motion quilting sit down machine, and it's literally 18 inches of space. It is a front quilting machine for free motion. So if your embroidery machine is set up for that, then yeah, you can do that. If you have, say, a sewing quilting embroidery machine, the 3-time combo, it says it's designed sewing, quilting, embroidery, and you can remove that whole embroidery unit off the end and put just a regular extension table on it, then yes, you can free motion quilt on it.
What's your
Opinion of what?
Coats and Clark for sewing and quilting.
Coats and Clark is good for sewing. And my original large spools that I was buying were Coats and Clark cotton. Now this is the signature one, but the original spools that I was buying constantly until I switched. It took a lot of different threads through these Juki machines to realize which thread it likes. And so far, as you can tell by my continuously speed sewing, this connecting threads thread, the connecting threads essential brand thread, I don't really have thread breaks. And when I do, it's because it's my own fault for starting off too fast or doing something dumb, or I knock the thread out. But I can continuously sew and I don't have thread breaks, which I'm super happy about, because this thread is probably better than all the rest I've used so far. I can't say enough about it. I love it, so I'm going to keep buying it. And it comes in tons of different colors. But yeah, Coats and Clark works too. They also sell, I have some actually right here. Let me show you. They're in this drawer right here. Coats and Clark also makes this spool of cotton thread. Technically, I think these are for hand sewing, but this is a large spool of Coats and Clark. What is it even called? I don't know. It just says Coats. It's mercerized cotton, 100% cotton. It's 1,200 yards. They sell it at Walmart. I did buy this stuff for a long time and was using it, but it can also be used for hand sewing, because I've used it for hand sewing. And I actually have a ton of this in 3 different colors that I should probably use up. This machine likes this as well. So this, I could say, is almost comparable to the Essentials thread. I mean, it does have its breakage and stuff point, but that took a lot to break. That almost hurt my fingers. Anyway.
Good for quilting?
It depends on the machine. Not for this kind of machine, no. I wouldn't use Gutermann. Those are on the small spools. I don't know if they even sell Gutermann in big spools. Yes, I use 40 and 50 weight thread for everything. I'm going to go through thread because you guys are talking about thread. So we're going to go through this real quick. Brands that so far this machine has liked and brands that I've used on my other Juki and my Brother machine, and I've had no problems with. Big spools like this of Orifil works good on this machine. I do get a lot of thread breaks. These spools, on the other hand, these little ones with the top and bottom, I cannot use on my Juki at all whatsoever. It breaks constantly. They are not meant for that. These are meant for the sideways loading machines. The reason why I still have these is because my other Juki and my little Brother machine use these 50 weight threads. Then we have essentials.
What difference does it make on the thread weight?
Not really much. The thicker the thread, the more you're going to have when you have your seam. So when you fold your seam back, if you have a really thick thread, which would be a really, really big number, I don't even know what that is like. It would be like 20 or whatever. It's the smaller the number, the bigger the thread. The bigger the number, the smaller the thread. Just make sure you guys are aware of that. So when you fold your seam back, if you have a thicker thread, you're going to have a thicker seam. So I would sew always more to the closer side of something than the farther, like a scant 1/4 inch, and then you'll have, less bulk because it's a thicker thread. The thinner the thread, the better for that. King Tut brand, very great brand, but this machine does not use it. They have so many variegated threads. I love that they have very variegated threads. The long arm, the King Tut makes long arm thread. They have really good long arm thread. Problem with that is my long arm does not like to run cotton threads, and they do make a solid polyester one, but for some reason my long arm does not like that, the King Tut brand. But again, these little spools like this, my other machines will run it. And also I can actually put this through on my embroidery machine if I want something specific. Then we have Mettler. That's what these spools are. Mettler is usually, I think it's like 40 weight. It could be 50 weight. Does it even say on these? It actually doesn't even say on it. Silk finished cotton. It doesn't say what weight it is. Oh, there we go. 50 weight right there. These I cannot run on this at all. Again, these kind of spools do not run on these kind of machines. This at all. Go-to thread again right now is my essentials. My essentials, because I have every single color that I could pop. Well, there's probably more colors than this, but I have tons and tons and tons of it. Then Hobby Lobby also sells essentials, I think, or a different brand close to it, but Hobby Lobby has them too. Again, essentials thread. Then we have, I think this one. Oh, this is the Hobby Lobby one. It's close to essentials. It's called Sewology. I had to think about that one for a second. So Sewology is sold at Hobby Lobby. Joann's might sell it too, because Hobby Lobby and Joann's kind of sell the same products. This I can run on this machine. These I think are 50 weight also. Yep, 50 weight. So you can buy these from Hobby Lobby. They work just great. Where's that other brand? There's another brand in here. Sulky. All right. Then we have Missouri Star thread. Missouri Star has a great, I have lots of Missouri Star thread. They have a really good thread, really, really good. Problem is, I cannot use these on my long arm, especially at all whatsoever, because the spool is too small and my long arm pulls way too fast. These don't go in the sideways loading machines either because of the way the spool is set up. It doesn't sit in there properly unless you have a machine that loads it. Mine does not. They do work on my Juki, but I have a little bit more thread breakage with Missouri Star, so I only use it when I need that specific color for top stitching.
Are your threads 100% cotton?
Yeah, most of all of them are 100% cotton. The only thing I use polyester on is my long arm and my embroidery machine. The embroidery machine I use polyester on too. Then we have Magnifico. They make small spools like this. I'm realizing that all these are like getting tangled. Magnifico also makes a large spool, long arm quilting. You can use it, or you can use it here. They call it finishing thread. These are 50 weight. Nope, this one's a 40 weight polyester. And yeah, I can use this over on my embroidery machine if I wanted to, because this is a very pretty color. I don't even know why it's not over there, but let's just say this could be used there, but it'll run through my Juki or any other machine because it's the right shape of a spool for it to go on your sideways loads. Then if you have less money to quilt with, you can still sew with Coats and Clark on all of your little home domestic machines. This stuff runs amazing through it. This is just a little spool of the cotton Coats and Clark that they sell on the end cap at Walmart or wherever else sells, thread. You can buy it online too. These are only like what, $1.49 a spool or something like that, and you get. I think it's cheaper than that, actually. It's 300 yards. It lasts. You could probably piece together a whole entire baby quilt top, bobbin rolling and all, with just this one spool. There's another brand right here. What is this one? Superior Threads. I love Superior Threads. I don't know why this is out here, not at the long arm, but here's one that I can use on the long arm. If I go too fast though, it'll pull it up off the spool thing, but they make lots of amazing brands, but it's mainly for quilting. So if you're going to quilt, like free motion quilt, I could say that this is one of the threads that you should free motion quilt with is the Superior Threads. They also have So Fine by Superior Threads, which is a bobbin thread, which you use. They have a 50 or 60, is it a 60 weight? Something like that. It's a very thin thread, so that way your bobbin thread is nice and small.
Thread weight is the glide that you use on the long arm?
I use 40 weight glide on the long arm. And then when I use variegated, that's actually a 50 weight. The Harmony brand that I use for the variegated, it's a 50 weight. It's skinnier. And then I think that's it for threads. We covered Aurifil, we covered Mettler. There's another brand that oh, here it is right here.
The little smaller one?
The little Gutermann. This I cannot run on here. The Gutermanns, I have a whole thing of Gutermanns over there. I don't know why they're here. Yeah, you can roll your bobbins with these smaller ones. I don't like running it on this machine because the way it spins off, it pulls it up every time. So I don't use these small ones on my big machine, only for the little ones. But if I wanted to sit here and carefully roll bobbins, I could roll bobbins with all of this thread, all of it, and just run 2 different kinds of thread, which is, you could do that too. If you don't, want to use a specific one on the top, just use 2 different kinds. But then I have a whole entire drawer filled with Coats and Clark. I have Gutermann over there and a bunch more other that are on these smaller spools that I really don't use on these machines, only on my other machines.
Do you use all-purpose thread?
You can use all-purpose threads. You can use whatever. I have ran 100% quilting thread. That's for hand quilting, hand piecing thread through a machine. I've never had a problem. So I have used invisible thread. Problem is I couldn't see it. I tried running it through this machine. It breaks. It constantly breaks. So I don't even bother with it on this. But there's other ones too. So also with the Essentials brand, just thought I'd let you know that Connecting Thread sells. You can also buy the Super Duty large spool that lasts forever. Problem is I don't use red thread for everything, but they do sell the super large spool. You can also go on all those, Wish was the old one. What's the new one now? Temu and all those websites. And you can actually buy spools of thread on there. And you know what? I have not had a problem with these large spools from, well, I haven't bought from Temu. I did buy from Wish. I don't buy from Temu. I've only bought once there. But back when it was just Wish was the one you'd buy on, I have bought these spools of thread, and you know what? I love them. They work just fine on my Juki. I've never had a problem. They're just cotton thread, 40 weight.
Have you ever used Yuli 50 weight injection cotton?
Yuli. I don't even think, I've never heard of that. Yuli. Nope, never used that. Again, back with those big random spools that you'd buy online. They don't even have information. It just says 100% cotton on the ad. I'm going to use it because they sell it and it was cheap. It was like $1.79 or something like that on there. And again, we do sell big spools of Aurifil. You can buy those for your big machines. They work just fine. It does, the thread breaks a lot though with the Aurifil. I think it's just because of the weight. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I mean, that's easier to pull than the other ones were. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just the weight or the machine just doesn't like it, but I have them. And then Signature, obviously I use, which is this right here, Signature. That's a good brand. They come in the big spools like this.
Superior?
Yes, Superior, yes. And then here's what a superior large one looks like, the Superior Threads large spool. And this is a variegated. So yes, I use these. This is the Omni V, which is Omni variegated. The V stands for variegated. And these are 40 weight. And then, and I'm like, the Aurifil comes in all the colors, by the way, for the big spools. You can get all the different colors for them in big spools. And that's about it, because I have lots of Aurifil in there and Signature in there. I have lots of Signature thread, like a whole heck of a lot of Signature thread.
Do you use polyester on your serger?
On my serger, actually, this is what I use on my serger right here. I buy these Sherlock thread for the serger. It's Coats Sherlock. I think that came out of this one. Yeah, it's polyester. Yes, it's polyester thread. As you can tell, I haven't changed my serger thread, so they're still brand new in the wrappers.
Have you used serger thread in your Juki?
I've used serger thread in the Juki only because I needed a specific color, and I had it in the serger thread. Other than that, I haven't actually opened any of my serger thread now that I have all new threads for the serger, and I don't use the serger very often. Right now, there's pink, baby blue, or baby pink, baby blue, baby green, and white on it, I think. I just used it the other day, so obviously that's what's on it, but I do have serger thread, and it is polyester.
You only use 40 and 50 weight?
I mainly use 40 and 50 weight for everything. For my piecing, my essentials is 50 weight, I think. Pretty sure of it. Let's look down here because I have a whole, I literally have tons of it. You can buy a 5-pack or 10-pack of cream and white and black and gray. And these are 50 weight. Yep, I knew it was 50 weight.
Where do you purchase
Signature
Signature?
thread is on, I think Superior Thread sells Signature thread, right? Is it Superior? One of those websites sells it. Huh?
How do you find the weight of the thread?
Oh, well, if you have the wrapper, so if you have the wrapper still on it and you haven't opened it yet, it says 50 weight. It's right there on the wrapper. When it doesn't have it, it's not even anywhere on there, like at all. So these big spools, they usually have right here underneath, inside of it, a little square. It's yellow, green, blue, red, white, whatever company. And it says Signature QT, Connecting Threads. That's where sells Signature. I knew it was that.
I was gonna say, is that one of our things?
Yep.
Tell 'em I put a
It's
link in.
Connecting Threads. So it says, Scotty put a link in. It says Tex 40, 3,000 yards. It says all the information, the company even. It says consumer division. It even has a 800 number you can call. So this is U.S. from India yarn. Oh, look at that. So it comes from the U.S. and probably processed in India. It's mercerized 100% cotton. You know, it even says the color is black. But yeah, on any giant spool, you can see it underneath. On Aurifil or all those other ones, it should be on the wrapper or on that top part. I'm going to show it one more time. So King Tut says it on the top part right here, and if you have the big spool, it would say it on the inside. Aurifil says it right here on the thing. It'll tell you your color number, like 2775 is this blue color, and then it will say Mako NE 50. So it'll say that it's 50 weight. And usually around the edge, when you don't have a wrapper on it, it says 100% cotton, made in Italy. Aurifil, it doesn't, oh, there it is right here. NE 50, so 50 weight. And then I think the rest of the other brands, Metler has it around the edge. I just got done reading it. Number 50 on there. So it's around the purple part of the edge of the Metler. The bigger spools of Aurifil, you should have the little bottom cap. If you lose that bottom cap, though, it should say it around the edge, but it doesn't look to have it on the edge of this one. So it doesn't. So don't lose your little bottom cap. So if you take them off, put them back on. But yeah, all of them should say, I mean, even the ones from Sewology, which are Hobby Lobby threads, they actually say right here, 50, right there on it. Wow, I didn't realize $9.99 a spool at Hobby Lobby. This was one of the ones that was gifted to me, but yeah, that's why I don't buy them there. But yeah, I think even Missouri Star, yeah, theirs is just a big giant sticker that's on the bottom. So when you poke your hole to stick it through the thing, you'll lose nothing but their website. Everybody knows what Missouri Star's website is. And then all small spools that are like this should have your original sticker on it and tell you what it is. I don't think the Coates and Clark threads even say, though. They don't even say what they are. So yeah, that's how you find it. So if you have a spool that you're unsure about, as long as, you know, it says it around the edge, if it doesn't say it, then I don't know, you could tell just by how thin it is, honestly. We just went on a whole entire, this should just been a thread video, huh? That's okay. All those newbies got to learn that there's tons of different brands of thread, and all those different threads have way different prices. The price range is from $1 something at Walmart to the oh my God, there's a word and it's not coming to me. I have to relook at it again. Right here. To the Superior, just this one spool of Omni. You know how much I paid for this? Oh, at QuiltCon and in the store, it was the same price. $19.95 for 2,000 yards. Do you know how much I pay for 5,500 yards of my glide thread in store? $11. So that's why I buy specific. So if you are on a specific amount of money and you can only afford so much, just remember there's a wide variety range. They're all good threads. I can't say nothing bad about any of them. Some machines like them, some machines don't. That's the only bad thing, you know? Other than that, they're all amazing threads. There's so many to choose from, though. Like, the sky's the limit. Every company has their own thread. Most, the big companies, you know what I mean? I don't think Jordan Fabrics has their own brand, but Missouri Star does, you know. I'm not 100% about Fat Quarter Shop, though. I wonder if they do. They might have something, you know. You never know. You don't know until you look. But yeah, everybody sells thread as well. Just know there's a wide variety out there. And if you're new to quilting, find one that you like and stick to it. I finally, 8 years later, found the Essentials thread to be what I like, and I'm going to stick to it. From now on, it doesn't matter, honestly. 40 and 50 weight seems about the same to me, honestly. The 50 weight is thinner. The 40 weight is thicker. The lower the number, the thicker the thread. The higher the number, the thinner the thread. So if you buy, say, they make 80 weight or something like that. No, is it 8? Yeah, it's 80 weight. When you're doing finishing stitches, they make an 80 weight for hand sewing. And it supposedly runs through the needle in your projects really, really easily. You can run them through machines for like sewing silk and things like that. Actually, I'm not even going to use those. I'm going to use those. But yeah, they make 100 weight. I can buy 100 weight for my long arm for specific like projects. I have no idea what, because I've never bought them. I have only sewn with 40 and 50 weight threads. So, oh no, I do have one that's not. It's out there at the long arm. I just haven't used it yet.
Okay, change the subject. Are you doing open gate quilt box?
Yes. What do you think I'm filming tomorrow? Open Gates quilt box. It should be out by Tuesday. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to film it tomorrow, edit it tomorrow, and by Tuesday. You guys know that I don't put my face on the camera, so it's a lot easier because I just set the camera up and I film, you know? Yeah, the box only came on Saturday, and then obviously I had to finish what I was filming for the other thing today. So yeah, tomorrow I'll get to the Open Gates box, but it's here. I don't know what's inside, but You know, if it didn't come on Saturday, if I didn't have today to do this, I would have been like totally opening it and filming it for you guys. But obviously it didn't come on a day that I had time to film. Or else I would have done it by now. And the mail didn't come till late that day either, so on Saturday.
Our mail doesn't come till late.
Yeah, our mail only comes late. It's crazy. Yeah, our mail comes at like 8 p.m. sometimes. 7:30 to 8 p.m. is when we can find the mail in the mailbox finally. My P.O. box, on the other hand, it's usually in there by 9 a.m.
How would you know?
Because that's what the lady said. Remember? She said we fill it at 9 a.m.
No,
when
she
the
didn't.
truck comes in.
No, she didn't.
Yes, huh? That's what she said.
They said it comes in all times of the day.
Well, yeah,
asked them more
they'll
than
fill
once.
it all
They
times of the
fill
day
it
if it
whenever
comes
the mail
in.
comes in.
But the 9 a.m. box gives you the mail for that day. So
Because I've asked them more than once. That's always what they told me. I don't
Yeah.
know where you got your 9 a.m. I never
from
heard
the
that.
lady with the long dark hair that's usually at the end window.
Never heard that.
Yep. Whew. Probably should eventually change the blade in this thing too to one of my old blades. Because this one's getting kind
You show them all
of
already?
Yankee. Yeah, they're all sewn. Even though we went on that thread tangent. Up there, can I have the, okay, what is it called? It's triangle shaped. Okay.
Let's try it up and
Yep,
down.
that one.
Okay.
And the back one.
You want
The
both?
back, yeah, the back one is the half-inch one.
You want them both?
Just the one.
Okay, just the back one?
Yeah, because I think that one has the half-inch numbers on it. Yep. All right, so I'm going to use my Clearly Perfect slotted trimmer to trim all these. I have no idea if these are trimmed to the size they need to be, but I will make sure that everything is 4.5 inches real quickly, because I don't know if she was already trimming these or not. She didn't even trim them yet, so they're just stacked there. So I'm going to go ahead and snip them apart and trim to 4.5 inches. And then I'll trim all the other ones to 4.5 inches, little by little. This is probably going to be the part that takes the longest. All right, 4.5 inch right there. It's always this trimming part. That's the part that takes forever. Oh, maybe I should trim my dog ears while I'm there too, huh? That would be the smart thing to do. And there I go, breaking my ruler again. This is why I don't do clearly slotted slots. I just broke my ruler again. We'll just do it with my trusty eyeballs. There we go. I'll just trim it and trim the dog ears off on my own. I'm not sticking the blade in that slot because it's the second time I've done that this week. I did it with the flags and now with this. I'll just trim them, the dog ears off like that. I'm wondering how many charm packs this was because there's a lot of repeat color. There's like 8 of these brown ones. And that's a lot for one charm pack to have the 8 of the same pieces. I'm just trimming these to 4.5 inches. Any other questions that I can go on tangents with that have something to talk about?
Oh, really? We talked about the mailman delivering in the morning and night.
Yeah.
Take the afternoon off and take a nap because it was 120 yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, they take an afternoon nap because it was 120 degrees yesterday. Today is 117 out, which isn't as bad. Oh, wait, it is for most people. Not for me, though.
120 is not any different than 170. It's 3 degrees. It's hot.
Any degrees above 100 for most people is too hot. Actually, a lot of people can't even do more than like 90 degrees. And then there's some that's never even experienced that because they live in such cold places. You know?
There's 120 in Vegas, record breaking
Really?
today.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
broke the record.
Yeah. It's 120. So Vegas got hotter than here today?
Supposedly.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
What's the hottest we ever had? Like 127?
120, yeah, 127 is the hottest I've ever, since living here and been living here for many, many years and coming off and on here, you know, because my grandma was here and I took care of her when she had
127, I think,
Alzheimer's.
is the hottest I've ever seen it here.
Yeah, 127 was the hottest I've ever experienced here. Although they say that it got to like 130 once, but I didn't feel it myself, so I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, I think we've always told us it got to 130 something.
I think it's what the sign says. The one that puts that thing, it has a sensor on the asphalt on the corner of Lake Havasu Avenue and Main Street at the bank, you know. I think their thing is wrong because it has a sensor facing the sidewalk right there on that thing where the sign is. Because I've never felt it be no 130 something here, ever. And I've been here a very, very long time. Starting to get parched. I need a drink. I'm hoping this week to be able to load the long arm and get some stuff done because I think you guys saw the video because the video already went out, but I did a project using double friendship stars and I chose a back for it and I like totally been wanting to quilt it and I just haven't, even though it's a small projects I can quilt pretty quick too. Just haven't gotten around to doing it because of all the other stuff I've had to do. But it's literally sitting right there next to me on the stack of junk I need to do and clean up.
After you trim the triangle when it's pressed, will you have to trim it again?
No, I shouldn't have to trim it again once it's pressed.
You want to start with one of these?
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure. Nope. Once you trim these to the slide. I said slide. Yep. My word's been kind of a disaster today. I think the headache intensifies my MS talk. Once you trim everything to size when you press it, the only thing that would... Oh, it just broke in one of these. It's not the edge, so that's a good thing. I've got two of them that are broken now. And on that one, I think is where the other one is. When you go to press your half square triangles, if you trim first, then press, just make sure that when you're pressing back, that you're not yanking on the bias. So like this direction, you know, that you're actually just folding it back and kind of giving it a finger press and you're not stretching anything. And then run your iron across it and it should be perfect. I don't like run the iron on it like this all messed around. I just kind of fold it back, push it back, and hold the iron in that position. So, you want to start right now?
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, we'll start with the blue binding one. All right, we're going to start an auction right now that is going to be of one, for now, of the quilts that is hanging behind me. So it'll be of this one right here, the one that's from last week's video with the blue binding. We're going to call this one blue binding. That way we know the difference between the both of them. So the one with the blue binding that I quilted sitting here just doing waves and then did waves and then waves, we're going to auction off and it's going to start at 10. So there you guys go. Have fun. Scott will bring the camera closer to it or bring it closer to the camera to show you guys the quilting. Blue binding first. You guys know how the auction works. You pretty much just, oh, you know what I just did realize I did here? I sewed two. This happens. Look at that. I sewed two background fabrics to the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and rip that off and then resew that seam.
When you iron your half square triangles, do
I do not take the time to iron open unless the pattern or something that I'm following needs to, but I am not an open seam presser. I just press to the dark or towards whatever the darker of the fabric is. Or if there's not one that's darker, like all this, I'm just going to press everything towards the background fabric that I'm using. I'm going to rip this off of here real quick.
What kind of ruler are you using?
I am using the Clearly Perfect slotted trimmer, and you can find that on most online things. And the other half of this has an extra one on it too. I got to pull that off as well. I'm going to stitch in the same stitching lines because I've already trimmed this. So I'm going to stay in that same exact stitch line. All right. There we go. Now it's a single piece. I'm going to go ahead and rip this one off of here real quick. And this one has not been trimmed yet. So if I missed my stitch line, which I just stitched perfectly in that other one, but if I did miss that stitch line, whatever. Oh, and it also has hanging hooks on it, which you guys saw me put on during last week's video. The other one has it too. They both have it. But yeah, it has hanging hooks on it. The back is red, white, and blue flags with the old 1950s, 40s truck. I don't even know what year that is. It's a Chevy, it looks like. Trying to stitch in the exact same stitch line. All right, well, there's that. I didn't mean to do that. Sometimes that happens though. I'll sew two pieces. All right, now I can trim this one to 4.5.
45-degree ruler to trim?
You can use a 45-degree ruler to trim. You could also use a regular long or square ruler that has a 45-degree line on it to trim. So I'm going to 4.5, so I'm not even on my line. So I would be going to the 4.5-inch mark here and the 4.5-inch mark there and putting those two lines on my stitch line. So I'm literally going to go 4.5 here. I can't see very well because of my positioning with this ruler. We're going to go to 4.5 on the stitch line there, 4.5 on the stitch line there. Adjust it just a little right there and right there. Make the cut. And I should have an exact, I'm going to open it up just so that you guys can see. Finger press this back very carefully like. Put it on there and look, it's exactly 4.5 inches. So you can use whatever ruler you want. I'm just trying to use things that I have here in the room. So that's why I'm using the Clearly Perfect slotted trimmers.
What days and times are you on?
I am on every Sunday, rain or shine. I am on every Sunday, no matter whether I'm sick or not, or have issues. That just means I'm in bed or something. But I come on all the time, with the exception of a couple things in my life that have stopped it. But I am always on Sundays at 5 p.m. Arizona time. My time does not change. So if it's 8 p.m. for you right now, at 5, say if my 5 p.m. is 8 p.m. for you, that means in the off season, I would be on at 7 p.m. for you. You know what I mean? Just when you turn your time back kind of thing. But I am on at 5 p.m. Arizona time. So whatever time it is for you, Google what time is it in Arizona. But I could tell you right now, it literally just turned 6 5 minutes ago. And then Thursdays, I'm on for breakfast at Tiffany's. That is always at 7 a.m. Although eventually I'm probably going to change that to 8 a.m. But right now it's at 7 a.m. and will be until I realize it's driving me nuts. And that's every other Thursday. So that's the first and the third Thursday of every month. I do not have the time or bandwidth in my life to do that every Thursday. So we just do it every other. That gives those morning people a chance to watch live, and those people that I have out there that live in other countries, you get a chance to watch live as well. So I have my evening and my morning. And then mail openings always happen on a Monday if I have mail. And those are always in the morning. They don't have a specific time. It's just once I get up and start moving around for the day, that's when I would do a mail opening. So just make sure you have your notification bell rang on your thing, and it'll notify you when I'm coming on live. And anything else I do is random, but it's been a long time since I've actually just went live on a random day of the week at a random time. But you never know. I mean, sometimes I used to do it all the time, but I'm on a schedule now, so I really don't do that very often. Oh, you left your seat and the kitty cat decided he didn't want you to not sit back there.
Stole my seat.
Thumper just stole Scott's chair. It's
Have
funny.
you used the block lock ruler?
I have not used block lock ruler because I do not own them. I don't even have a friend locally that has them to try them to know. But I watch Jenny from Missouri Star use it all the time in all the videos. And you know what? I really like the idea of it, but it's pretty much for me. I can use whatever ruler to trim with because I use the line it up on the sewing line method. So it doesn't really matter what ruler I have, but there's no sense in having any more rulers because I own so many. But block lock sounds and looks like a good ruler. But you'd also have to have them in, multiple sizes probably, I'm assuming. So that would be costly unless they sell like a block lock ruler kit.
You have used the slide lock ruler?
Yes, I have the slide lock ruler from So Be It Quilts. That one is a good one for cutting yardage. The kind of rulers that I do have, though, for this, I have the Clearly Perfect Slotted Trimmer, which is the same as using the strip tube ruler. So if you have a strip tube ruler, you can trim your blocks using that as well. Just line up their stitch line on your stitch line for the number that you want. It's the same exact thing, so that way it saves you money and you don't have to buy any extra trimming tools. And then I don't think any other rulers that I have over there for trimming half square triangles or anything. Nope. Everything's just a square. All right, what are we at? 45 to who? Heather. 45 to Heather going once. 45 to Heather going twice. I don't see nothing coming through, so Heather, it's yours. Sold to Heather for 45. Look at that. So cute. Don't forget to email us, Heather, and let us know how you want to pay. We use Zelle. I prefer Zelle, but we also use, I always forget what that darn one is called. Venmo and PayPal. So I use all of them, but just email us and let us know how you would like to pay. Or you can even pay through GoFundMe. We do use that and we do get that, but they do take a portion of it, just so that you know. That's why we don't use it. And PayPal does too, takes a portion.
Check if they won't.
I'm all like taking my time with all these. Normally I would like do the dog ears last after they're all pressed, but I really don't want to get up and start pressing anything because I don't want it to be hotter in here than it already is.
For you.
No, we don't need to iron. This can be ironed another day. I will sit here and just trim all of these because I'm doing one at a time.
It's pretty warm in here.
Yeah, I don't know why it's warm in here today. We have the fan on and the AC has been on several times, but I'm feeling kind of warm in here. And Scott agrees. I think it's just because you guys may think it's a big room, but it's only an 11 by 10 room. So unfortunately, 2 people in here with all this stuff and just one fan and sewing machines going and lights on and everything, it warms it up pretty quick. We're in a small space.
Do you use AccuQuilt for cutting your scraps?
I have an AccuQuilt. I don't have many dies. I did purposely go get a 5-inch die for. I didn't purposely go get it. It was actually bought for me while I was out and said, I needed a 5-inch die. I'm going to buy one. And then someone said, oh, I'll buy it for you. So I got one while I was out, but I do have a 5-inch die for it. But the only other ones I have is like one of those cube things to make different blocks. So it does have a 2-inch square, and it has some oddball numbers like a 3 3/4 or 3 7/8 or something like that squares in it. And then it's got a bunch of triangles and stuff, which I don't cut my scraps into those sizes. So I don't even bother pulling out those. I got the 5-inch square one, so that would save me on cutting some of my scraps into 5-inch squares. So now I don't have to do that part. You know, I just throw them through the thing and roll it. Oops, I don't know why I'm doing that first. Because I'm talking and distracting myself. Right there. You know what would probably make it easier for all this is if I pulled this up here. Let's see if this makes it easier for me. Oh, it's like cutting on butter with this. 4 1/2, 4 1/2, right there, right there. Oh, nope, it slips, so that doesn't make it any easier. It still slips. I probably should put some hot glue gun on this ruler, and then it wouldn't do that anymore. Okay, that's not going to work for me. We're just going to not use that. And I'm actually going to use the edge of the desk instead, because I like that is my method. So I literally take my half square triangle and I have my thumb under the desk. I do this all the time when I'm doing a lot off camera, because my hand doesn't need to be exactly there. My thumb is literally holding pressure with the top of my hand to become like a C-clamp on the ruler. Making a mess over here. Drink of water. It's 2:41 a.m. in Scotland.
Yep.
Wow.
That's why we do the breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah, that's why I do the breakfast at Tiffany's, so that would be afternoon for you or something, or evening or something like that. Instead of having to stay up till the middle of the night. Whew, that's got to be challenging. But if you're a diehard fan of watching me be weird on here, then, you know, watch whatever. I do know a lot of you are like what I was before I got onto a night schedule and actually, you know, stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning anyway, so. Because you're night owls. I was. Not anymore. And I don't miss it either, honestly. Because now I don't feel so, you know, being up late all by myself and everyone else is in bed kind of thing. I don't feel so lonely to where I need to go sew because I'm asleep. Because I always wanted to sew or something when I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't because Scott's on the other side of this wall and it would just wake him. So, and that's one thing I loved to do when I couldn't sleep was sew. And when I can't sleep now or I'm struggling to fall asleep, I actually go in the fabric room instead, and that's when I cut my scraps and organize because it's quiet things to do. But it's very rare that I'm up that late anymore. Like, very rare. Maybe once a month, you know. So I applaud all of you for staying up late and watching me. Those of you that are somewhere else in the world that the time is super late for. There, right there. I feel like this is taking forever. Like, seriously. I know. I feel like it's taking me. There's a lot of half square triangles. I don't even know how many she pre-had, and I still have to trim all these down. But these ones are already pressed open, so those ones all I have to do is trim to size. These ones I gotta get to the size, still press them and everything, which obviously I can do off camera, and then maybe next week or something I'll figure out a layout for all of these if I can get them all done between now and then, because there's a lot of extra work here with all this trimming. I wasn't expecting it to not be fully done. I thought it was just a pile of extra squares and stuff. I didn't know it was all this was being turned into triangles. I am making a lot of dust here, and it is making my nose itchy. I'm breathing in the dust from cutting. Oh, it feels like these little tiny bits of particles are going on my nose. I'm kind of curious, actually. All of you that sew a lot all the time and create lots of fabric dust, do you have that problem too? Or is there something secret, some kind of secret that you have to keep from breathing in the dust particles? And then when you go to blow your nose and the tissue and you open it and just to make sure, everybody opens their tissue to see what color their snot is. I don't care who you are. So you open your tissue and you're like, look at all that dust. Do you have a way to stop that for those of you that have been sewing many, many years? Because I could sure use some help with that. I have allergies, and this does not make it any easier on me. And it doesn't help that I'm literally sitting right above it as well. But if there is a way to stop that other than wearing a mask, please let me know. Really? Yeah, I don't sneeze as often, but it fills my nose, and once it's full enough, if I'm not wiping it or keeping up on it, I end up sneezing. But let me tell you, there's got to be something. This is probably, other than woodworking, this is probably one of the other dustiest hobbies there are. But with woodworking, there's a special vacuum that you can hook up to all your saws and suck all the dust away so that you're not breathing it. And you can also wear one of those bigger masks to cover your face with woodworking. With this, that's the only other option. I mean, really, there's got to be something. I'm also making sure I'm cutting these, by the way, with the pinked edges facing up so that I'm kind of catching those at the same time, because I really hate to lose the size of my block because I did it upside down and this lost seam allowance with my pinked edges. Use ceiling fan. That's what I have. I have the ceiling fan on. It's got to be something. Yeah. Yeah, if I use a little fan. Although, I have to say, the nail salon has these little fans that they stick on the desk to suck away the smell of the smells. You guys know that nail salons stink. Well, they have this little fan, and I'm telling you, it's just a little round fan. It's kind of thick, but that thing blows. It's like an industrial fan, but just next to the thing. Like, that is a super awesome fan, but that wouldn't work in my case because it would just blow everything off my desk. Some companies put pinking around the edges of the charm squares so that the oops, why am I doing that? I'm kind of talking, and yeah. Some companies cut their pre-cuts with pinked edges to keep them from fraying between the time that they cut them in the factory to the time it gets to your room and you open it up. Although most of them are now shrink wrapping their packages, so I don't even know why they would pink the edges if they're going to just cut it and then shrink wrap it. I don't know why they would have to pink them, but they still do pinked edges on pre-cuts, which makes a mess. Not only is it a dusty mess and we're breathing it in and it drives us crazy like the question I asked to solve, but it also, I I think it messes up the size on a lot of the pre-cuts because not everybody knows what that company's pre-cut is going to be, whether the inside of the pinking or the valley of the pinking, I should say, is the 5 inches, or if the peak of the pinking, which is the mountaintop, is going to be the 5 inches. Like, how are we to automatically assume that that 5-inch square is going to be a 5-inch square? Because all companies do it differently. And then like these ones were wonky. I don't think my daughter stretched them out before sewing them, so they were already wonky with pinked edges. So every now and then you'll get a wonky cut charm pack or jelly roll or layer cake or mini charms or just all those pre-cuts. The only pre-cut that I've only seen twice in my whole entire quilting career here is I've never seen fat quarters with pinked edges except for twice. I got some fat quarters in a little small random bundle that looked to be from a quilt shop cutting the fabric. They were pinked edges and stacked in a bundle. And I got both those bundles at the same exact time. I've never seen any company, Moda, Robert Kaufman, you name all those companies that do their own pre-cuts. I've never seen them with pinked edges on fat quarter bundles or fat quarters, period. So the rest of them all I have. All the pre-cuts. Even the 1.5 inch honey buns, pre-cut edges with the pinking. I don't know why, but they do it.
Here's one. My grandma used to light a couple candles for quilt dust. I think it's a wise tale.
A couple candles for quilt dust.
Never heard of that one.
I've not heard that either.
Well, most people are saying the air purifier.
Well, yeah, that's what I've been told in the past. And you know what? I think, who was it? Somebody in a professional field also recommended an air purifier. Said we needed to get a whole house one, but put it closer towards my sewing areas, and it will still take care of the whole house, and that it would work. But I still think when you're like literally right here cutting it, I don't know. I think it's still going to be dusty. But never know. I mean, if you have an air purifier, you should tell us, is it as dusty than before you got the air purifier? And does it have to be a specific kind of air purifier? Does it have to be like a whatever with a HEPA filter, you know, all those specialty ones and blah, blah, blah? Or could it be one that just has that says air purifier with no HEPA filter and it just has some kind of random filter that you rinse off or something? Because I'm pretty sure they make all sorts of different kinds of air purifiers. I don't know what Claire. It's probably the brand.
Oh.
Yeah. I even take allergy pills too, and you'd think that that would help, but everything affects my nose. So, and in here is the worst. And now I'm feeling a sneeze actually. Okay, I think that has passed. Yay. Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be something to solve this problem. If they're going to pink our fabric and we're going to have to deal with, we might as well have some kind of answer. Somebody will come up with something. I tried the wearing a mask thing in my space here, but I get too hot because I live in Arizona and it's hot here. And even with the air conditioning running, for some reason, having a mask on, I still feel like I'm over sweating my booty off because I'm breathing my own hot air. An air purifier might, oh yeah, we don't want something that's going to put off any kind of heat. My room is, and the funny thing is our air conditioner in Arizona, where we are, at least, I don't know about all, but where we are, the air conditioners are on the roof of our houses, usually on the back side, not the front, so that you don't see it. And they're lifted up because we get floods here, and the air conditioners would flood if not. It's on the roof, and the vent to it is literally directly below it, and it's on the other side of this wall, right here at this closet. That's where the vent is. So that vent is what sucks in all the impurities that has the filter and blah, blah, blah. That's on the other side of this door, you know, so you'd think it would help, but I guess it's not room specific. That'd be good if it was, but it's not, because it definitely doesn't. It does a good job of collecting dust from everywhere else in the house, but not from in here. Oh yeah, I do saline solution in my nose all the time. My doctor says I should keep up with it, and I did after I had my nasal procedure done. What was that procedure called, Scotty? I don't even remember. I even had a procedure done on my nose to help with my allergies, and guess what?
They put radio waves in your nose to make that nostril openings on the inside bigger, so it breathes easier.
Yeah, so I had this procedure. I forgot what it's called. They use radio waves, and the radio waves burn the nostril openings in there on the back side of the nose, not the front side, obviously, but inside your nose, and it opens the pathway to breathe easier. I had that done, and I can breathe easier for sure, but that means I need more nose hairs as a filter, which I don't have because I'm still, now that I breathe easier, I'm still breathing in all this stuff. I had a lot of things done for the allergies, but yeah, I kept up with the saline nose spray stuff because it actually helps. The other day for the 4th of July, we went to a barbecue thing at the Elks, and then I went over to a friend's house to swim for the first time this year. And let's just say her nephew is there. She's probably watching. Hey, Noah. He's there, and he was in the pool with us. And he grabbed one of those floaty things and turned the pool into like being in the ocean. I mean, I couldn't even stand up straight or sit up straight. And let's just say I had such a workout. I slept so good that night after the fireworks were done and I was able to fall asleep. I slept so good that night because I worked out my legs and stuff. But let me tell you, I was so sore the day after the 4th of July. Oh, my first swim every year, the first time I go into a pool every year, my body hurts so much. So that means I need to go start swimming more often because, yeah, I definitely got myself a good workout. And I didn't even do much either because he was playing around in the pool more than anything. So I was, diving in, and we were jumping through the tube and things like that. It's kind of funny, actually. Yeah. So my first swim of the year went good, minus the fact that I'm still super sore, but I need to get back in so that I can work out in the pool because that's what I love to do. I love to swim laps. That's my thing. It keeps my legs moving, and I definitely I feel the difference MS wise with the numbness and the tingling that I get in my legs. I feel so much better if I can keep my legs moving in the summertime with the swimming. Makes me feel great. Plus, I stay cooled off in the pool. Let's see, what else have I been doing? Oh, last night, I really, really wanted to go to sleep. My head started hurting. And to top everything off, one of my neighbors decided that, I don't know what time it was, but it was like probably after midnight, decided to blow off some fireworks. Not just any kind, the kind that blow up in the sky. And it was literally close to us, so that kept me awake last night. I mean, the 4th of July was the other day. Why are they still setting them off? Because they finally had a weekend to do it, I guess.
They've been doing it since last weekend.
Yeah, they've been doing it since last weekend around here.
Weird.
Our town's very weird when it comes to fireworks. They could come visit on Memorial Day. People are whoever come and they light fireworks. Yeah. I know, it's like 3 something in the morning. I heard it, yeah. I was awake. It startled me awake. One of the neighbors did it. Yeah. Sounded like it was directly behind us, but it wasn't. It was probably that way. Uh-huh. Yeah. Interesting. It's probably because they were awake and like, oh, I just got off work. Let's blow up some fireworks. No respect for the people that are trying to sleep and go to work the next day. Although I work from home, is still trying to sleep. You guys probably say the same thing though too. It's not just me. Let's see. Anything else going on around here? Not really.
Just Thumper's birthday.
I've just been sitting around doing nothing other than working, and I've been like working throughout the day lately, almost since I got better. Not when I was sick. I didn't do it when I was sick, but since I got better, I've been trying to get as many things as I can get done during the day, work-wise, which means in here, client-related or otherwise. And then by 6 or 7 p.m., I finally go and hang out with Scott, and we either watch a movie or just watch my TV show or something, which I've been watching White Collar with, what's his name again? Matt Bomber. Yeah, Matt Bomber. He's my new boyfriend because I don't like Zac Efron anymore. I used to, but not anymore. What's the movie that he was in? That one that the
wrestling one,
Iron Claw. Seeing Zac Efron in the movie Iron Claw totally ruined him being my boyfriend for me. So now I've moved on, and Matt Bomber's the new one. Even though Mark Wahlberg is still my boyfriend, and Ryan Reynolds is still my other husband, But and then I like Gosling too. He's like a 10th place though for me, only because he's shorter, so it would work. Do any of you ladies have your lovely boyfriends and your husband 100% is okay with it?
What about Channing Tatum?
Or Channing Tatum, I like him too.
You got too many.
Yeah, I get teased all the time by Scott. He's like, "Oh, your boyfriend's on TV. Let's watch a movie with your boyfriend," or the movie with your boyfriend just came out, or oh, I saw a movie with your boyfriend on a commercial today. Like he always does that, and I'm like, "Well, which boyfriend?" It's so funny. I'm wondering if any of you guys' husbands does that to you. Calls all these people that you're, I mean, some of you like Sam Elliott, and my neighbor across the street from us, when they first moved in, the way he was dressed and how he was standing out front and his mustache, he looked like Sam Elliott. I was like, Scott, look, our neighbor looks like Sam Elliott. And he's like, wow, he does. So our neighbor looks like Sam Elliott. And they've seen my videos, so I just never said it out loud to him in person. Oh, it's kind of fun. That's why Shirley married him, because he looks like Sam Elliott. It's kind of funny. But yeah, you guys have your little boyfriends out there, don't you? And for those that are men out there, you probably have your girlfriends, like what, Angelina Jolie maybe? Or when Scott was younger, he liked, who did you like? Britney Spears or something like that. Well, when you were young. Oh, Pamela Anderson. He was a Baywatch Pamela Anderson fan. That's what Scotty was. Now he doesn't have any. At least he won't tell me he does. Those are from when he was high school, though, he said. Yeah, he doesn't have any girlfriends for me to tease him about. So instead, I'm like, during a movie, and she looks really pretty or she's dressed up, I'll mention something that looks funny or off just so that he can't unsee it. So that I have something to tease him about. It could be that, something like there's a weird eyebrow hair just randomly out of position. He's like, now I can't unsee that. Or they did the makeup and they put, dark lipstick on her and it got on her teeth and they forgot to take it out when they were editing the movie, and I'll point it out and he'll be like, "Ah, man." It's kind of funny. But he doesn't have any girlfriends that he'll tell me about, so I can't tease him. Mark Harmon. Who's Mark Harmon? I don't know who that is. Scotty, who's Mark Harmon? You know all the actors.
I know, but I don't know anything you know.
Oh, Mel Gibson, there you go. I watched Iron Claw 2, cried around. Hairdos were real. Yeah. Yeah, that was a very strange movie. Who is Shemar Moore? Do I know who that is? Have I seen them in something? Richard Gere. Oh, there you go. There you go. Well, back when he was younger, not his old. Sorry, guys. I like the younger ones, obviously. But the older ones, if I was older, they would be, the ones.
How about Hemsworth then?
Hemsworth? Oh, yeah. Yum.
I didn't think you liked it. I didn't think you liked Thor.
I don't like him in the movies where he's Thor because he's too big and bulky. I am not. Scott always says, well, why don't you like The Rock? I'm just personal things that I like. I don't like when somebody is super, like a guy is super duper duper buff, like so big that they're, what is this right here? The lats stick out. I don't like that. And I definitely don't like, what is this right here? The traps. I don't like it when that sticks up. When I met Scott, his stuck up, and I'm kind of glad he just let that area go because I think that just looks too much. And The Rock has that. And when what's his face is in the Thor part, he has that. I don't like it. I don't find it attractive. But when he's in other movies like love stories, because he's Hemsworth's been in some love stories that I like, oh, tasty. I mean, seriously. But I don't like over muscular guys like that are just too much. I don't mind a man that works out and has a 6-pack or whatever, but when it's overdone, it's not for me. Others like it, but I don't. I guess we all have our likings. I also have girl crush actresses too. When I was younger, I loved everything that Demi Moore was in. Everything. Like, I didn't care if it was a stupid movie. I was obsessed with Demi Moore and being like her. And then Drew Barrymore was also my other favorite growing up. My other what?
What's the other one?
Over there, the flag one? Over there. It's not a flag. That one's just a regular one. Chuck Norris. Who likes Chuck Norris?
I like Chuck Norris.
Who's Jason Momoa?
Aquaman.
Aquaman.
We just watched the movie.
We just watched the movie, and now I can't even think of who he is.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you know who else? What's his name? The guy that plays your Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah. One person Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. He's pretty hot, too. Denzel Washington. Younger versions, yes. The older version, he's getting older. Idris Elba. Yeah, a lot of people have said that in the past to me, that they thought that he was handsome, very, very handsome. He's a handsome man, yes, but again, too old for me. I like him young.
Oh,
This is my neighbor married, yeah.
Yeah, I already said that.
Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid. Isn't he bald? Isn't that the
No.
bald actor guy? Or is that the
No.
one?
No,
I'm trying.
he's
What is he
not.
in? Hold on. I don't remember actors' names unless they're my boyfriend, by the way, or girl crush. What is he in?
I can't think of anything at the moment other than Jaws 3.
Kevin Costner. Ooh, I had a Kevin Costner in the what's that movie?
He does a lot.
a war movie. Is it a war movie that he's in? Is that Kevin Costner? That might be another.
He's in The Postman.
Maybe it's that
He's
movie.
in Waterworld.
In Waterworld.
He's
In Waterworld. It's not a war movie, but he looks really. I don't know. Maybe it's because he's part fish. I don't know.
He's in a lot of stuff.
Trying to see some of these.
Range.
Open Range.
I'm naming the
Open
movies
Range.
that we
I'm
own.
trying to think. Sheraton Moore also played CSI New York. Oh, you know what? That maybe I could see.
Dances with Wolves.
My daughter likes rock ever since the babysitter. Didn't we just watch, or was it The Pacifier? I think I just watched the Pacifier one.
What did you watch that with
Chris
me?
Pratt. Chris Pratt. He's cute. He's the whatchamacallit guy.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Yeah, all the
New
newer
ones.
Jurassic Park ones. Yeah, he's pretty cute. Outlander. Have we seen Outlander? That's who that Jamie Fraser is from.
I've seen the movie.
Donny
TV show.
Osmond, heartthrob.
Kitty, are you gonna work? Or are you
Yeah,
gonna help
I'm
people?
working and
Well,
reading.
you're losing people like crazy.
Hugh Grant.
The English dude.
Vin Diesel. See, that's another one Scott thought that I would like, but it's the muscle. I think it's the muscles. It's just not
Because
my
I've been
thing.
told I look like Vin Diesel. That's
Yeah,
why I said
Scott said he's been told that he looks like Vin Diesel.
when I was younger and bigger.
A very white version because he's
when I was
not
younger
tan.
and bigger. I used to be much bigger and bluffer.
Yeah, he used to be a lot. When I first met Scott, he was very big and buff. Yeah. Actually, if you look at some of my really old videos, if he's on them, you'll see he was bigger and buffer. But he doesn't work out as much since he's hurt his elbows. So, because he has golfer's elbow in one and tennis elbow in the other. But he doesn't even do tennis or golf. It just happens from repetitive motions. And that's the name they gave the problem. But he still works out and goes to the gym. He just doesn't do the super weightlifting like he used to when we first met. Sure. Did you hang it? Oh, okay. We can do it at the end then. All right, we have this one right here. Oh, the other one? Okay, we're going to do the other little flag one.
Well, we did the one little one.
Yeah.
The big one for another.
All right, we're going to do the red binding flag one now. This one I quilted on the long arm. We're going to start this off at 10 for the auction. And Scott will bring it up to the camera so you can see it's quilted with loop-de-loops and stars. And then the back is the same as the last one. But Scott will bring it up to the camera and show you guys. We'll let this run until I'm done on here. I'm going to finish trimming a couple more of these. My pile has gotten down. It's a little bit. I'm just dragging this on, honestly. It's just, I don't really want to do too much besides get some of these UFOs started on. It's rare that I just sit and have regular conversation with you guys. I feel so normal today. Tom Brady. He's a football player. I'm still reading it. Oops. Stay. That one shifted on me. There we go. Make the cut. Any other questions or anything during this last amount of time? I'm all about answering quilty questions. In case you were curious about something and I might have the answer. Or at least close to an answer. At least it's something that I've done. Yeah, it's definitely hot in here. I've been so thirsty. If you guys haven't noticed, I've almost drank that whole water. Come on.
hotter than 80 in here.
Yeah, it does feel hotter than 80. Like a lot hotter than 80 in here. It feels like
This one has the red loopies.
this one has red hanging hooks on it. Oh, you can just take it up to the camera and show them the quilting because they know that's the same back as the other one. So this one just has the same truck fabric on the back. I had enough to do 2 quilts with that fabric. Well, 2 little quilts, not 2 big quilts.
Is there going to be a 2-Sunday project?
A what?
Is there going to be a 2-Sunday project?
A 2-Sunday project? Oh, you mean like, am I going to drag this on till next week? It depends. Depends on if I'm in the mood or not. I actually was thinking for next week to do something that I've never done on my channel before. And may or may not happen. I cannot tell you exactly for a fact right now, but I was thinking about it, is making headbands. Because I'm all about this whole like things that you can make and sell at like flea markets or online for an Etsy shop or, you know, things like that. Obviously, I'm not making and selling anything. I'm trying to think of an idea of things that we could. So I was kind of thinking of making next week, so Sunday, all about making headbands and show you guys how to make headbands. Have I looked at any of the stuff that Karen sent me? What do you mean? Oh, you mean the patterns and stuff? I sat and read through the original ones. Was it Karen that just asked that? Yeah. I sat and read through the ones. Those can be done. You can share them in the group. The whole rest of everything I have not sat and read yet because I literally have it right there on the other side of the camera on the sewing machine desk. I just have yet to sit and run through them all. I'm not much of a reader. That's my problem. But if you're going to post them, I can trust Karen that whatever you did with the patterns is good. Just post them. And if someone has a question or something is off, maybe they can just ask me or you and we could figure it out. So if you want to just share them to the group, you can. I trust that it will be good. So that one's just quilted in loops and stars, as you can tell. And it has the hanging hooks for hanging it on a dowel, which I'm going to try to start remembering to do with all the wall hangings here in my room. I don't always remember to put tags on anything, so most of it, if you get it on auction, because I auction 90% of all these little projects. If you do get it on auction and you want me to sign it because you want to know, just let me know in the email and I'll sign it. Because I have been forgetting the whole tag thing. I need to just get some pre-made ones, honestly. Some little pre-made ones for all the little projects. Because I do make a whole heck of a lot of little projects. Other than the open gate box, every single month I make like 4 or 5 wall hangings and table runners or something every single month. Even though I told myself in the beginning, I was never going to make table runners. I was never going to make wall hangings. Look at me now.
You said you're never going to make bags.
I said I was never going to make bags. I wanted to learn how to make clothes. That was my thing. And you know what? That's what I did the other day. I forgot to say. The other night, it was not nighttime yet all the way, but I was laying in bed watching TV and I was like, I need to do something. So I went into the other room, grabbed some fabric, and I decided to make myself a nightgown. I like to make nightgowns. So I made myself a nightgown. It did not come out the way I had hoped because I was trying something different. And next time I make it, I got to figure out that whole bust section of clothing making. That is my problem. Once I figure out how to do that, then maybe stuff will fit me better. But I screwed up royally on that, but at least I made another nightgown. It is wearable. It's just not wearable outside of my house or on camera ever. because it doesn't fit like it's supposed to. And that whole thing out. But again, I'm not much of a clothing sewer, so I'm kind of learning, teaching myself. If I could find where I stuck all my patterns, I have a ton of patterns. I should probably just try to follow a pattern and see if that's any different than me trying to make things up on my own. I have a whole stack of patterns. I have pants and tops and all that. If I could figure out how to do a top from a pattern, then I can figure out how to fix the tops every time I make the nightgowns. I can fix it to fit around my girls better. That's the part I struggle with the most, I guess.
Technique called the full bust adjustment. Look that up.
The full bust adjustment? Okay, I will look that up. It's been a long time since I've had a line drawn on the fabrics to follow for all this. Oh no, is that one not? Okay, good. That does land right there on that edge of that pinking. Super close, but it worked. Come on. I saw one of the questions, am I making a table runner now? No, this is probably enough for a baby quilt or something. I don't know, but there was a lot of charm squares here, more than just one worth. So whatever this turns out to be, which I don't know, and I could actually probably try to talk to Lexa during this week and find out if what she was trying to make with all this. I think this is the only project I had in everything that, well, other than I have something from what Becca started in my UFO projects, but I think that's the only other one that I have that's started by somebody else. And then I have one from Becca a long time ago that I have yet to get to. It's actually in the other room. It's not even in here with my UFOs. All right, what are we at, Scotty? I didn't hear you.
31.
31? To who? Lois. 31 to Lois going once. 31 to Lois going twice. And I don't see anything coming through, so Lois, sold to you for 31. All right, so don't forget to email me, or Scott. He's actually the one that takes care of all that stuff. And then if he has questions, he always asks me. But email me and let us know how you want to pay, and then we will get that situated. Look at all this dust on me. Oh my goodness. All right. Any more questions before I get off of here and go about the rest of my evening? That way you guys all could finish up what you were doing, like sewing or sewing some more before I came on here. All right. No questions? Scotty? I said no questions? Oh. All right, guys. I'm going to cut this last one that's in front of my face. The rest I'll work on later because I'm kind of just, you know, overwhelmed by needing to cut half square triangles. And it happens. Trust me. Don't feel bad if it happens to you. But I did get this many, and I only have this many left to trim, and then I still have to trim these ones that are already pressed. Whew, that's a lot of half square triangles to deal with. So it'll take a while. I will eventually get it done. And then when I do, I will work on it some more. But for now, at least they're sewn. All right, well, if there is no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Don't forget, tomorrow I will be on in the morning sometime whenever I get up and start with my day. It's actually not right when I get up. It's after I, had breakfast and stuff. I will open some mail. I don't know what there is because I didn't even know there was mail. Scott makes a pile and I didn't even see a pile, so I don't even know. And then throughout the rest of the week, stay tuned for some videos. Open Gate should be on Tuesday, hopefully, if not Wednesday at the furthest. It just depends on how long it takes me to make it and how long it takes to edit it. And then the other video I'm working on, I don't know when that'll get done, but it'll get done. So stay tuned for whatever happens this week on my channel. For now, I'm going to get going. Thank you guys for those that did the auction. Don't forget to email me and everybody else. I will see you all in my next video. Bye. Good night. Good night. Bye. Bye. Bye.